You're watching Around the Bay Sports on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. And here are your hosts.
I'm Amon.
I'm Drew.
And we are.
No, I'm one of it. I'm Jack.
And we are.
Around
Duh.
Bay.
Sports. And I'm Jesse Hassa. Thank you everyone for joining today. We have an exciting show today, mostly all NBA. And here are today's topics. So yes, as you can see, the NBA championship has been crowned to the OKC Thunder. I think that's a great place to start tonight's show. Aman, did this series play out the way that you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, I believe it did, because I know we didn't get no 2016 script involvement, but I felt like the way it went down, it was competitive. A battle between two great point guards for the future, as we went back from last week, like the whole face of the NBA. But I think for me it went down as it goes, because it was competitive each way. It's like as a fist fight.
Yeah, Jack, what are your opinions on this series?
Well, I felt it was a very, very good series. It was great, but it was a lot better than I expected. I honestly expected the Thunder to win in 5 games, but then the Pacers, they didn't go down without a fight at all, especially when they're without Tyrese Halliburton in Game 7. But this was the first Game 7 since 2016, so it's been 9 years since the last Game 7. And this was the most watched game of the series, so I felt it went a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, I feel like we just needed that, just because for the past few finals, it's been gentlemen sweeps, maybe at least 6, but it's like this kind of hopefully sends a picture that the NBA finals, that competitiveness it's still there.
Drew, what are your thoughts on the NBA finals this season?
This series.
Concluding, yeah.
Yeah, I thought everyone just had a great point. This series was very competitive. I mean, I feel like this was probably the most competitive in the last few years. I would say since 2016. I mean, Pacers didn't back down. They never give up. They kept fighting. It's that, like we saw in the first game. I mean, we all thought, oh, Pacers ain't gonna come back from 15 down. I mean, that's what happened. They came back. They won the first game. They shocked the world. It kind of shocked the OKC. I mean, it kind of set the tone for how the series was supposed to turn out. So I think that I don't think there wasn't many blowout games in this series. Most of the games in this series were pretty competitive, and I think that we all thought we would see a 2016 script Game 7, especially in Game 7. But it doesn't matter if Tyrese got hurt or not. That Game 7 will still be very competitive and stuff, very entertaining to watch. So I respect that this series will give us how the finals should be in the next few years. So,
You brought up an interesting point there. That brings us to the second topic. Aman, I'll start with you this time. Do you think the series or the Game 7 would have played out differently if Tyrese Halliburton wouldn't have gotten hurt?
I mean, definitely, because we've seen, I was kind of wishing, Halliburton shuts the Oklahoma crowd, sucks up their joy, because just we've seen him in all this playoffs. Even if we didn't count last year's playoffs, when this team's in, he's in his mode, and yeah, I mean that could it could have been 100 plus score if Halliburton, SGA, just those two superstars going to war. We've seen in this series. It sucks what happened. As we were watching it together, Drew and Jesse and I, and it's just when we've seen it with Durant and against Toronto, just like you saw that pop. Like I don't know how it feels. I haven't dealt with that injury, but we know like it's painful just to see it, and I don't know how it is to feel it when you feel a rupture like that. And man, he was crying because I really wish he was. If only like I wish if he didn't. We know he had the calf strain recently. Sometimes that might be a sign a rupture might be coming, maybe not, but yeah, it's sad to see Halburn. He's a team player, a captain. Yeah, but yeah, if he didn't pop that kills, we've been seeing something we haven't seen in a long time.
Can I just say that I blame the NBA Cup on this and all the
little tournaments.
Yes, all the little tournaments. It adds more intensity to a season when the ultimate prize is the NBA championship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they
don't get any.
They should probably just shrink the games at this point if they're going to do all this.
Yeah, you don't get any rings for winning the in-season tournament. Yeah, that's bragging rights.
You get a lot of money though. That's
but I mean,
for the teams that matter,
yeah,
they all have superstars already. Their players are already making.
They're already making money. I know it makes for like fundraising, which is good and all, but the basketball is competitive.
It's competitive, but it's adding competition at the beginning of the season when teams need to be fully rested for the playoffs. Because you saw 3 athletes get hurt during this playoffs. First, Damian Lillard ruptured Achilles. Jason Tatum ruptured Achilles. Tyrese Halliburton ruptured Achilles.
Yeah, there seems to be a ruptured Achilles like trend going on.
Yes. And that all has to do with movement, like repetitive movement, and a lot of pressure on that joint, on the calf and the Achilles. And I also feel like the new system is meant for players to get hurt with how many games they have to play in order to get awards now. Like you have to play for, I think, 60 games, I believe it is now, in order to be considered for NBA's first team,
60,
second team.
65.
65? Okay. In order to
65.
Just at least qualify.
Yes, to at least qualify for NBA's first team. And with those awards come a Supermax contract if you're named NBA's first team player. I don't think that just because you're taking a few nights off due to either injury or to recover for a playoff series, I don't think that should disqualify you if you have the stats to back up your play.
I guess I don't know. Do we feel like should contracts now have incentives?
Yeah, I don't think being
just in general, I know or
I don't think NBA first team should determine how much money a player can make or if they win an MVP. It should just be based on their stats. I would like to hear your take on this, Jack. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, if there's going to be like a really good player who's played like almost all those games and yet they all of a sudden get hurt or something like that and then they're ruled out for the year, it's kind of disappointing. It kind of discredits them for how good they were. And honestly, I honestly agree with your guys' takes personally. I don't really have too much to say on this. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Drew, what do you think about this also?
About his injury or
just what's happening, like how players have to play all these games to be even considered for NBA.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. I mean, they should get rid of the cup. I mean, it puts more pressure on them, and even including the playing tournament, it puts people who are 7 seed or 8 seed, put them pressure, and like the more games you play, the more wear down on your body, and then I don't know. I feel like I'm not saying playing games should be like taken away, but like the more games you play, the more toll you on your body, how your body's supposed to recover. But yeah, I just feel bad for Tyrese. I mean, just seeing the pop on his Achilles, it's just sad to see in sports. I mean, it's just hard to see. Like Amon said, Jesse, Amon, and I watched that happen live, and you see you see that boom and like shot us in the heart. We all just felt bad for him. I mean, like a guy like him, like he's such a great player, such a team player. Never been selfish about him. He only cares about the team. Like I just feel bad for him. I mean,
Because now the more the question is about Indiana, because like was that their best shot for a title? Now
Yeah,
with this
because-
injury,
Can I just respond?
Yes,
go
exactly.
for it. Yeah, go
I
for
wanted to go back to the question that we were originally asking, and then I'm going to answer yours.
Okay.
Tyrese Halliburton was one of the main factors of the finals.
it. Definitely.
And when he got hurt, that was a significant blow to the Pacers. Because Tyrese Halliburton, he only played 7 minutes, yet he scored 9 points. And he was 3 of 4 shooting from 3 of 5 shooting from field goal. And he only turned the ball over once, and he was scoring well. He was dominating from the 3-point line. And this guy, Bennedict Mathurin, he all of a sudden came out of nowhere until the playoffs happened. And he scored 24, 10 of his points were from the free throw line. But then you got guys like Obi Toppin who play 21 minutes and you score 0 points and only take 4 shots. So if Tyrese Halliburton played the game, maybe the Pacers would have won the finals. Maybe it would have went to overtime. But honestly, it's just going to be another what if for the finals, and that's disappointing.
Yeah, because I mean, for Mathurin, Mathurin, if I'm pronouncing it right, at least seeing that, it's like okay, like because for him, I believe if he was drafted by that team, and I feel like I don't know, it was a first round, but it's just like all right, at least seeing a player not like Halliburton, maybe Halliburton potential, but at least seeing that little growth, it's like someone scoring that's not Halliburton,
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Another sorry to interrupt, but another issue with Tyrese Halliburton, he's also going to be out for next season.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Pacers are going to have to make a pretty big splash in the offseason to make up for losing Halliburton.
I mean, they probably have to keep Turner. They got McConnell and like 3 other players for like the next few years. So yeah, they gotta like we'll see about the drafts coming up tomorrow. I'm not sure if they have a first round pick. No, they just traded it. They did trade their pick. Now
26, I think.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they regret that
26.
now, but we'll see what they have in store in the offseason.
They don't even have a first round pick according to this.
Yeah, they traded it.
They traded that to the Pelicans.
But it was a 23rd pick, and they gave it to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Could I just preface by saying this, that I'm not trying to take anything away from the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were the better team.
Oh yeah,
They
props
won
to
the
the
title.
Thunder.
Congratulations. They had their parade today.
Yeah, there's like 500,000 people there. I saw in the article.
Such a K.
I mean, it's the first they find like as in case people didn't know, they were the ones to Seattle Supersonics with Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was on that team. So they had some.
year.
Yeah, they had some good years, and it's just they made this move to Oklahoma, and we've just with that franchise itself, we've seen the trio with Westbrook. He was the superstar of that team, and they tried it with the Durant Harden experiment. They went for the Melo Paul George, and we've seen them making the playoffs. But now, finally, since they moved in 2008. They finally got a title. We'll see how many they can get throughout the years.
Before we move on to all the trades that have happened over the past few days, including one of the big ones that happened on the day of Game 7, do you guys think that OKC is going to become a dynasty? Do you see them going back to back, or winning 2 of the next 3 world titles? I'll start with Aman.
I don't think I see it, because the competitiveness is just like just seeing Game 7. I mean, just seeing that finals, and we know the teams that want to, the Warriors, the Nuggets. What was the third one? The Boston. It's just the way this NBA is structured. Because think of it, now we got these mini tournaments, and it's just if you take that out, maybe, but with these tournaments, just adding more competitiveness to these great athletes, I just don't see it. I don't see it happening anytime. I don't see it.
How about you, Jack?
I mean, I can see them winning a championship every now and then, but I don't think they're gonna go back to back. Teams are gonna adapt. They're gonna change. They're gonna try to get younger because Thunder, I think, were the second youngest team in NBA history to win a championship. And the average age is 24 years old. So I don't think they're going to be a true dynasty, but I think it's going to be almost different championship every single year.
Yeah, I agree. They'll probably next 10 years they'll probably win a few more, but yeah, just the term of dynasty, I just don't know.
What do you think about this, Drew?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be like the Golden State wannabes. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think that's fair. Calling them wannabes.
I'm joking. No, I don't think they're gonna be a dynasty. I feel like Thunder, they're gonna get younger. I mean, they're gonna have all the picks. Next few years. And they have to make a decision. Either they're gonna extend Chet, extend Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. It's the GMs have to make moves that that's gonna help the team. And a month in, the league is so competitive. Any team can win a championship. And think that I think NBA. Of course they're gonna win a few more next few years, but I don't think they're gonna go back to back.
I mean, another congrats is since Drew mentioned about GM. I mean, that GM who pretty much was was trading or at least receiving picks like the lottery. And usually when you rebuild, it takes, a while, but to crunch it in less than 5 years, and now they just won a title. So it's I just feel like we should congrats the GM of building that team.
Yes, I think that was a good. Well, he started off by drafting three of the best players from the West Coast Conference, and even though he went to Gonzaga, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and
the boy Alex Dukas.
Yes, Alex Dukas, Aussie.
Oi. Same age gal.
Yes.
Wore my hat.
That is crazy that he's winning.
Yeah, congrats to Dukas, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Congrats to him. I mean, last year he won the West Coast Conference Championship, both tournament and regular season. Now he's an NBA champ.
Yeah.
Maybe hopefully we'll see him be on the NBA court maybe.
Yeah, I hope to see him more in more games
since
next year.
The signings and all that. So maybe he'll be part of the depth.
But all right, I think it's time to talk about some trades that have happened over the past few days. First, Kevin Durant. Yes.
Alex Cruz, the bald eagle.
Bald eagle.
That's why. I mean, that's what I said when we were hanging out, seeing the games. He's the bald eagle.
I thought him bald mamba, because
Let's start with the Kevin Durant trade from the Phoenix Suns to the Houston Rockets. On paper, it's a good trade. I don't like that. I feel like Houston gave up too much for him.
More as the Bane? Desmond Bane? Well, I'm just those. Since you said that, I'm just thinking the Desmond Bane one was whoa.
Bane and Jalen Williams. I feel like that's too much for Durant at that point, because that kind of defeats the purpose of getting Durant because they're not as competitive with only that one without Jalen Williams.
I mean,
so I don't see how this can make them true contenders right now. Drew, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I was asleep when the Durant news came out. I mean, like, I was just sleeping, and then all of a sudden I hear my brother saying, "Oh, Durant just got traded," and like I just came out. I just woke up, get out of my bed, running to my phone, looking, see if it's confirmed or not. And I saw the Sham post, and I saw it, and then I was like, Durant to the Rockets. Okay, I feel
was
like
that one of the teams you wanted to go to?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was
Is
one of
it
the three
them?
traded preference that you want to go to.
Yeah.
It was that the Spurs and Heat. All three of those have no state taxes. So
Yeah, there's no state income tax, but you still
State
got to pay
income
federal
tax.
tax anyway.
Yes.
yeah, I feel like it benefit both teams, but I think Durant. Rockets didn't have like a true number one like scoring option besides Van Lee. I mean, like we saw in the playoffs. I mean, like there was some games where it was Van Lee's turn, some games it was Chengu's turn. Like they didn't have a true number one like option for offense, and I feel like they have that now. And with Kevin Durant, you don't want to rely on Jaren Green or Dylan Brooks, but I think that. And also, when the Suns got Jaren Green and Dylan
Oh,
Brooks,
Thomas, good question. How does this affect LeBron's legacy?
I brought this up because I wanted to talk a little bit about legacy. How does this affect Kevin Durant's legacy? He went from Oklahoma City, where he was an up-and-comer, to Golden State, a two-time finals MVP, leaves there to try to do things on his own with Kyrie Irving. We all know how that played out in
But
Brooklyn.
maybe with this trade, this is now that the question could be answered.
He's not a leader, though. He's a great NBA talent, but he is not a leader of men. So I think this is going to work out like all the other situations that want him to be the number one player. He's not, in my opinion.
well,
Yeah. Because look, in OKC, he had Westbrook to bail him out.
Right.
And Golden State, he had Curry and Draymond helping him. When he
Yeah,
tried to do
Clay-
it on his
Clay
own.
also.
Sorry, go ahead.
And Clay also.
Yes, and Clay Thompson. Great warrior. But once he tried to go to do it on his own in Brooklyn with Kyrie Irving, they barely made the playoffs. They barely
Yeah,
played
that
any
was
games
pretty much a
together.
death trap for him.
That
Did
was
you
a
know?
disaster.
But did you know that he was not originally going to go to the Nets? He was actually going to go to the Knicks, but Kyrie wanted to go to Brooklyn
Yeah,
instead.
there was that rumor.
They
I
were
heard
Imagine
that.
now if Durant with that Brunson
I
and
still think it plays out the same way. That
Well,
well, they
I don't
might be
know.
at least in they might be at least in the finals.
no, I don't see that because
Really?
at the
Okay,
time,
okay.
at
So
the
the current
time,
the current team that the Knicks have and Kevin Durant's on that team, do they make the finals?
I see that.
if the Knicks would have stayed the course if they had Kevin Durant, because the Knicks, the first sign of trouble, they get rid of everybody. They got rid of their head coach. That got
Yeah,
them the
I
Eastern
still don't know.
Conference
I
Finals.
still don't know
I
why.
don't know,
And
maybe
they still
with-
haven't signed a coach either. They
There's
still haven't
that.
signed anyone.
They'll probably get Mike Brown.
So yeah,
Why
I
haven't they
don't.
done it already.
I don't think Kevin Durant to the Knicks would have made them a champion. I think it would have played out the same way, just faster. They would have gotten rid of both of them, and then because Kyrie still would have been still wouldn't have been playing because of the vaccine. That was an issue why he couldn't play in some of the games because he didn't want to get vaccinated. Not trying to talk politics, but he
Yeah,
wasn't.
no,
There. He wasn't there
He
for
wasn't the
his
only
team.
one.
He was
Yeah,
not there for his
A
team.
couple guys that did that.
Yeah.
So I feel like this actually hurts Kevin Durant's legacy as a great NBA player because you think of Kobe. He stayed on the Lakers his entire career. You look at Steph Curry. He's been a warrior, won championships his entire career. LeBron's legacy is different because he built championship teams. He didn't just join them to try to chase a ring. Jack, you seem like you want to.
Yeah, I don't know
something
about
on that
that.
one.
I mean, he kind of just talked to He talked to Chris Bosh and D Wade about like joining up in Miami, and
Yeah, like LeBron. Well, I don't know if I want to say abandoned Cleveland, but it's like he could have stayed in Cleveland. You know, he's from there. I mean, he could like imagine, and then Donovan Mitchell came along, and it's like, look at this. LeBron could teach Donovan, and then LeBron could retire to Cleveland, and then Mitchell. Who knows where that growth would have come? But of course, with Mitchell, we've seen his growth over time. But yeah, I like. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Sorry, wait, did you have something to say, Amon?
Yeah, my thoughts are coming in and out.
Okay. But yeah, like for LeBron, I could kind of see why he wanted to leave Cleveland. He wanted the experience to choose his destination because he didn't have that going into the NBA, or he didn't have that college experience of getting recruited because he went straight to the NBA. So he wanted to experience that, and he liked the Heat's offer more, but he helped build that championship roster with Wade and Bosh.
I mean, hopefully, like, I don't know, Cleveland was quite a disappointing playoff run, because honestly they could have been the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe the finals itself. I mean, people were hoping, because we see when the Cavs took on the Thunder, that looked like a finals preview. So every time they met, it was competitive. They were going to war, and as we know, the fans, we expect, we want that as the finals, but hey, we got the Pacers Thunder. That was great. But you know, as the season went on, no one really thought of the Pacers, because some teams that go to the conference finals, they get there again, like the Timberwolves. We saw that happen. But I guess the Pacers, they got in the finals. They competed.
I realized I never really. But I set it up like I was asking a question, but then I never got to it. But do you think that this hurts Kevin Durant's legacy as a great player? Jack, what do you think?
I mean, feels like he kind of wanted out of Phoenix. It seems like he just wants to leave teams more than anything, and try to be try to show commitment to a team instead of just going from team to team. And this trade, honestly, I think it benefits the Suns more than it benefits the Rockets.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because people aren't really. I don't know if people are really saying this, because like Stephen is saying, this makes them contenders. No, it doesn't. Get out of here with that.
No.
This was a desperate move by the Rockets. The Rockets want to win a championship this year. They want to do it as soon as possible. Kevin Durant's going to be 37 next season, and you're trading for a 37-year-old. You're giving up 2 young guys, and let's see, one first round pick, and 4 second-round picks. This was honestly one of the most one-sided trades I've ever seen, and it's completely ridiculous. Now, if the Suns can get rid of like Bradley Beal, who I think honestly he should consider retirement, because he's not the guy he used to be in DC. But the Suns could potentially be a really good team. Maybe the Rockets, maybe they'll go deep in the playoffs next year. But I think this was a desperate move, and they were saying, we got to win right now. We're not going to think about the consequences later.
Sorry, I just want to stop you guys right here. I think Thomas brings up a good point in his question here. Houston's average age is 24 years old after adding Kevin Durant. How many years do you think they'll keep him to help develop young talent?
Well, that's the thing. Do we see Durant as a leader? I mean, he'll probably be a good teacher, but
no.
In order for that to happen, is he a good leader through the tenure?
He doesn't want to lead.
Yeah, when Kevin Durant was on the Warriors, he wasn't really a leader. He was like the enforcer of the team, and Steph Curry and Draymond were like the 2 big leaders on a team. This is probably going to be similar to what the Rockets are, because the Rockets don't really have a leader guy on their team. And if you can name me one, then by all means tell me. But one of your most reliable defensive players went to Phoenix, and your other young future star went to Phoenix also. So this is honestly, I think it's going to be all coach is going to have to be the leader. There's not really a specific leader on the team. And
I mean, as long as you count Dylan Brooks.
Honestly, I think this actually hurts their defense.
I
But
do
it
too.
increases their offense. This is, and Thomas makes a good point here. This is kind of like adding an older James Harden in this certain way, because he's just as Kevin Durant's not a defensive player. James Harden was never a defensive player, so they're gonna be all offense, and they're gonna try to go back to that like 2018, 2019 Rockets.
Yeah, I don't see this. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just thinking like just their roster. Fred VanVleet, I'm not sure how long he's with them. He's still with them for 2 years. I mean, they'll probably do like they could do VanVleet. Let's put him in the 6th man. Start Amen Thompson, because you see him when he took on the Warriors. He was good. I mean, he was quite competitive against that Warrior team. So I think he's a bit of assist. You can maybe search about his assist stats, but I feel like it depends what their structure, how they see it. Because Amen Thompson could lead the charge at point guard. And we'll see whether they put in Durant small or may go to power. We'll see moves later on, but yeah.
Drew, what are your thoughts on all of this? Durant's legacy and how this can either help or hinder Houston's chances of winning a championship?
I mean, Jack kind of points it out. I feel like Houston is trying to be a more offensive team than they were the last 2 years. They were more a defensive team. I feel like Jack said, it hurts the defense a lot more. Teams can go at Durant, during crunch time, like they don't have that, pesky defender that what they have with Brooks. And I feel like, Jack mentioned a really good point about Bradley Beal. I feel like that should be a next move that the Sun needs to do is trade his ass.
Yeah, they didn't get off that contract, but who's going to pick that up? Should he go join Washington since they made a trade of themselves, picking up CJ's contract? That's pretty big. So maybe they should do a Bradley Beal reunion. We'll see.
Yeah, and then I feel like my cousin brought a good point about like Durant might be like the 2018, 2019 Harden where he averaged 36 and something. Like there'll be more offensive team. I don't know what the structure of that team going to look like this upcoming year. We'll see about Ime Udoka on what's his structure going to be for this season. So I don't know what's the clue about the structure, but we'll see.
Can I just say that I think Udoka is a really underrated coach? I think that he's going to have to be the leader of the team, not just the coach, but the culture leader, as he has done already with this team. But now adding Durant, do you think that changes their culture at all? Aman, do you think it changes their culture?
No, not really. Because sure, as you know, what Jack said, it's a desperate move. They just felt like they needed a score, at least of like the Warriors' magnitude.
I think Luke brings up a good question actually here. He says, which trade do you think was worse this year? The Luka trade or the Kevin Durant trade? Definitely the Luka trade, because that was
We
didn't even test the market for Luka.
he didn't test the market. Well, Durant, the
thing about this was also the Luka trade was very sudden. No one was really expecting it. With Kevin Durant, you were kind of expecting it, but once the two got traded, everybody was extremely confused because Luka was pretty much the entire future of Dallas, and now you just pretty much give him away to the Lakers of all teams, and then you trade Anthony Davis, who like literally the game he plays in his debut with the Mavericks, he gets hurt.
Can we just say how horrible it is that the Mavericks have the first pick in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in our last episode.
Yes, I still don't see how they can be rewarded for trading away their best player.
Yeah, we'll never know.
I think the Luka trades.
Yeah, because Durant.
I think the Luka trades.
We'll see. With all the talks we've gotten so far about this, like we'll just see when the season comes about Durant. Is this a push for Houston? They need to make a good run in the playoffs, but we'll have to find out. We'll find out sooner.
Well, the Luka trade is the worst trade out of those two for sure, because everyone said he was a franchise star for the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, and he wasn't even like he was like an untouchable player that we all think. I mean, like that was
That's
like
the
a
thing,
shocker.
right? If players do not have no trade clauses in their contract, nobody's basically untouchable. That's what that trade tells me. That players could just be traded at any moment. That the player, I used to call it player entitlement. I forgot what it used to be called. Player empowerment movement. Do you think with this trade has the player empowerment movement has ended because of the Luka trade? Anyone could take this.
Probably at this point, because when that Luka trades, like no one is safe. It's like NBA is more of the management than the players now at this point. Like, of course, the management wants their fans to give them a title, so they're trying to do any possible move, something crazy like the Luka thing, and now this Durant trade. Everyone's just trying to at least get a ring before, to a point that maybe you might not have a chance. So it's just everyone's changing their way of how they rebuild. Like, as we know, like certain teams only getting 10 wins because they're trying to make this slow process. We see what the Thunder did. It took them 4 to 5 years, and they just finally won a title. So
they pointed out something interesting on the broadcast. They said that a couple of years ago they only had 26 wins, and now they are NBA champions. I think that is amazing. They could go from 26 wins, but trusting the process.
Yeah, sticking with and then like the Thunder, I just wonder what the Clippers feel. It's like we traded him. Now imagine if he sticked around, he probably would have been like traded today for all we know. If he sticked with the Clippers this long, it would have been like a crazy trade.
Wait, sorry, who are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, SGA. Sorry. Oh. I was just thinking, like, how would the Clippers fans are reacting when they saw that player won a title before that team
has
ever even touched the finals?
Yeah, but how pissed off do you think Kevin Durant was when the Thunder won the championship?
I think it was really pissed off because he saw himself as the only way that they could win that.
Yeah, because he's like by far the greatest Thunder player like in their franchise.
Not anymore. I'm sorry, I don't see that anymore.
Yeah, but I guess SGA's had one 1 year.
Yeah, I think that they'll keep improving though.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, they're a very young team. There's always room for more improvement.
Could I just say that the funniest thing here is that both teams, the Indiana Pacers and OKC, both got better by trading Paul George. That's what started all.
That was the story of the Paul George.
Paul George.
Do you think he should get a ring for this? Since technically he's the one that
probably they should give him a ring.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course, I'm joking. But
yeah. You never know.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I think we should talk about some of these other trades that have happened over the past. Well, earlier today we learned that Jordan Poole was traded from the Washington Wizards to the Pelicans for CJ McCollum and I'm sorry, I forgot who else was involved in that trade.
So in the trade it was the Pelicans traded CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk and a future second round pick to the Wizards for Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, and the 40th pick in this year's draft.
I agree with you here, Thomas. I think that Jordan Poole is going to be a journeyman in the NBA. I don't really think this puts New Orleans over the edge.
Oh no, it's not going to put him over the edge. But Jack and I, we actually saw some of his games when he took on Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And that, I guess that trade, the Warriors did, in a way, may have helped him out because Poole is trying to become a little more of a leader in that Washington team. So it's a bit shocking he got traded. Probably Washington's still in that rebuild phase. They're just taking a lot.
I think Washington's always going to be in the rebuilding.
Yeah, but Wizards, they keep getting like older guys like CJ McCollum, Kelly
They
Olynyk,
just picked up Chris Middleton's player option, which
player
is like
option for
30 mil.
$33.3 million. It's
But I just when Zion gets healthy Zion with Jordan Poole.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that I'm going to say it. I think that Zion Williamson is a bust. He has not lived up to the player that we were promised.
If he didn't gain so much damn weight and be like 300 pounds.
Now. I never body shame, but
I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying, like, the main reason why he was out was because of that. You do understand?
I get that.
Yeah, but like,
if he had like played the way that he was in college, maybe he would be one of the best players in the league. But for now, he's just not the guy he was supposed to be.
I blame his mental toughness most of all, because you're seeing new reports that
is he like Jamarcus Russell?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far.
Jamarcus Russell is one of the worst draft busts in it.
I still think he's a bust, though, from what we were promised.
But not Jamarcus
For him.
But yeah, I understand the trying to like do the comparisons, but
because he was a number one pick, and as any of the Raider fans know,
yeah,
Jamarcus. It gave me I have a memory to share. When Cal was really good, I went to the game with Oregon State, and this when LSU, Jamarcus Russell, got upsetted. I forgot what team, but if Cal would have won that game, they probably would have been number one seed. So I remember the fan. I was a little kid, and as you know, kids are when they experience the sports world, they feel crushed. They yell things out. I was like that, but it just gave me a flashback. Like Cal almost could have been the number one seed. With LSU in that time was number one with Russell, and then Raiders, we pick a guy like, this QB did well. We know how that happened.
To be fair, everybody knocks the Raiders for that, but anybody would have drafted Jamarcus Russell coming out of college. He was one of the best quarterbacks that year in college for LSU. It's just he had the athleticism. He didn't have the mindset of an NFL player. And to be honest, I think we can compare that to Zion. I don't think he has the mindset of an NBA player with the choices that he makes, because I saw a report about 2 weeks ago that he was in an abusive relationship with his, I guess, ex-girlfriend, dating back to college at Duke, and he was only there for a year.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. It's with relationships and sports careers, it's like a meter. You gotta try to at least center yourself, but you got to lean towards one or the other. But relationships can be an effect.
Yeah, I think they both. His mental maturity isn't there in both his NBA career and in his personal life.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter. I'm sorry, I am not familiar with the Travis Hunter situation. Are you guys?
He just signed his rookie deal.
Yeah, unless Tom, you were thinking of the signing, the contract, that has happened. But if you want to share any news you might have found, please do.
Yeah, I mean, the only really thing I know is like Travis Hunter signed his 4-year, $46.65 million deal. But besides that,
unless you're thinking of Shedeur.
Yeah, Shedeur, he got signed.
Asking about.
Yeah, I don't really see any other reports about Travis Hunter.
Oh, I know he's talking about. Yeah,
that I don't know.
I know he's talking about
hearing that.
I just think he loves who he loves, and
I mean, he can date whoever he wants.
Marry, even.
They marry, do whatever you want. He's just obviously, as an NFL player with all that money, you just got to be careful. That's the important thing.
Yes.
Hopefully that doesn't affect his career because he's a good athlete.
And he's got extreme promise in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They traded up for him, so
He just can't make dumb decisions off the field, and he's just got to be smart with his money. It's that simple. Any parent would teach that to their kid.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to be very careful what he's going to do.
I think this could bring us to our last trade. Kristaps Porzingis being traded to
The unicorn.
to the Hawks.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's what we're still calling him now, but for me, I still call him the unicorn.
Do you think this does anything for the Hawks? Chances of making the playoffs and becoming contenders? Drew, I'll start with you. Oh, Jack. Yes, Jack.
No. Drew can go first. It's all good.
No, Jack, you're about to say something, so.
Okay. I don't think this does much for Atlanta. I think it does bring experience, but I still think they're going to be the same team they've always been, either just barely make the play-in or barely make the playoffs. I don't think they're contenders at all. I think they're the exact opposite of that. I think they're pretenders. But, I mean, Trae Young's going to want to be out of there sooner or later. I'm surprised he hasn't requested a trade.
Yeah, I feel like he should leave.
Like, I remember in the Moneyball movie, great movie, by the way, to everyone watch this, I highly recommend that movie. Billy Bean says in the movie, he's like, there's teams. So, like, for example, like all the NBA teams, like you have the Celtics, the Warriors, Thunder.
Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers. Sure, do whatever you want.
Yes.
And then there's 50 feet of crap.
Yeah.
And then there's the Hawks. The Hawks, they're not going to get anywhere next year. They're going to be like, oh, hey, we're here. Then other people will be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Anyways, so here's what's going on in the playoffs. But this does nothing for Atlanta. It's just so cool that he's going to Atlanta. You want to be there, sure. Do whatever you want. But if I were Trae Young, he hasn't been in the playoffs in like a couple of years. So I would, honestly, if I were Trae Young, during the deadline of next NBA season, I would ask for a trade.
Yeah, so maybe we could maybe for the next season we could get a Trae Young trade in the future. But I don't know. Maybe I feel like at least this team's winning percentage may go up a little bit. That's probably the only thing I can expect from them.
I don't really think that matters if they don't make it deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, knowing the playoffs and all that, there's still things to fix. But I think maybe at least if I went to a goal, at least maybe the win percentage goes up a bit.
I don't think they're a big contender, to be honest. I don't know. I feel like they're going to be the exact same team from last few years, and like Jack said, they're pretenders. So I feel like Trae Young might get out of the Hawks pretty soon. So, but we'll see.
Do you think Porzingis will elevate his game with the Hawks, or do you think he'll stay the same player that he's been during his
I think
career?
he'll stay the same player.
Yeah,
when he was with the Dallas Mavericks, and
yeah, the thing about Porzingis, though, he's extremely injury prone. So even if he goes to Atlanta, if he does a little there and then he gets hurt, it's going to do absolutely nothing for them. They could potentially either get better or they could get worse. But Porzingis has always been injury prone throughout his entire career, ever since he got drafted. So I don't think it's going to do much. He's just got to be careful with his injuries.
All right, everybody, that's our show. That's all of our topics for today. NBA draft is tomorrow. We'll be back Friday to talk more about that with a recap of the draft, not just from the Warriors' perspective, but the entire NBA. I just want to thank all of you for watching around the Bear Sports.
Well,
Is there anyone you want to give a shout out? Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Thomas, for sure.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here.
Shout out to my family. Shout out to Ariana. Shout out to everybody else in the entire chat.
Shout out to everyone who watches this stream. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Thanks for bullying us. I mean, you're just grateful. We're just grateful that we have someone like the audience, to watch us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and please, if you have any family or friends, just to see this stream, it will help our growth, as we're just four guys who just like sports.
Yeah, I've been watching it for years, and you know anyone else that's interested, you're more than welcome to tell others. Spread the word. There's always room
Even
for
people
more.
that don't know sports. We could
Also,
at
if
least
you would
give
like
them
to be a
insight.
guest, a future guest on our podcast, just DM us at our Instagram page, which is Around the Base Sports. I am posting it in the chat, our username, Around the Base Sports, all with underscores. I'll leave that there for a second so you could copy it just in case.
Oh, follow us on Instagram at
Yep.
that.
Yes,
that.
you could also follow us
Follow.
on Instagram there if you haven't already.
Yeah, like I said, it's only in the beginning of us, and we're gonna keep going from there, and hopefully we can provide more content for you guys. So
Yeah, we'll keep you all informed of.
yeah,
I appreciate this comment. Brick by brick. Well, actually, you know what I'll say? Brick by motherfucking bricks, lads. Let's go.
let's go. Shout out everyone for watching this. We couldn't done without you guys. Shout out everyone. My family, my friends, Jesse's family, his friends, Jack family and his friends, Almon's family and his friends. So we couldn't done without you guys' support. We got 100 views from the last podcast. So I feel like, we're gonna keep going, provide more content for y'all, and yeah, see y'all on Friday.
Yeah, see you all Friday. Please remember to like and subscribe on this video so we could continue to create great content.
And follow
And
us on Instagram.
Yes, and with that, we will see you later. Thank you for watching Around the Bay Sports.
Where's my hand invisible again? Yeah, my hand's pretty much invisible. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Deuces.
Deuces.
Your cousin did well.